Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a close look, really digging into a market that's not just growing, it's fundamentally reshaping our digital world. We're talking about cybersecurity software. We're going to unpack why it's expanding so incredibly fast and, what that really means for all of us.
Yeah, and our insights today, they're coming from this really compelling report. It's called the Global Cybersecurity Software Market Forecast to 2033.
Mm.
And it's just packed with projections. Honestly, some of these numbers paint a fascinating picture of where this whole essential industry is headed.
That's right. And this deep dive, it's really designed to give you a clear, sort of concise understanding of the cybersecurity software landscape. We'll look at the explosive growth, where the market's going globally, and pinpoint some of those regional hotspots. Because these aren't just, dry statistics. They really tell a powerful story about how interconnected we are now and necessarily how protected we need to be online. Exactly. And your mission, if you choose to accept it as our listener, is to quickly grasp the core drivers behind this massive growth and really understand the sheer scale of this critical industry. You'll get insights that frankly go beyond the usual headlines. We've got some growth figures later that truly underscore how vital this sector has become. It's pretty staggering. Okay, so let's start maybe by clarifying what we actually mean when we talk about cybersecurity software.
Sure.
I know our audience follows this topic, so they know it's more than just like basic antivirus, right? What's the modern scope look like these days?
Yeah, you're absolutely right to point that out. It's way more sophisticated than just the basics now. I mean, foundational tools like antivirus, firewalls, they're still absolutely critical, no doubt. But the report really underscores this explosive growth in more nuanced, more integrated solutions. We're talking about things like, say, XDR, that's extended detection and response, which pulls together threat data from multiple layers of an organization's tech stack.
Okay, so much broader integration.
Exactly. And then there's the increasing demand for cloud-native security platforms, things designed specifically for the complexities of cloud environments. We're also seeing huge growth in SIEM security information and event management. That helps organizations manage and analyze just vast amounts of security data. And endpoint protection, of course, for basically every device you can imagine connecting to a network. So the shift isn't just about more software, it's about smarter, more integrated software. It has to be to reflect how complex modern threats are.
Right, that paints a much bigger picture. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for me. What's actually driving this boom? We obviously hear a lot about cyber attacks, they're always in the news. But are there other, maybe less obvious factors the report points to that are fueling this massive demand?
Well, it's really a confluence of several critical factors, all kind of accelerating at once. Of course, the escalating frequency and sophistication of cyber attacks, that's a primary driver. Businesses, individuals, we're constantly facing new, more dangerous threats. It forces investment, often reactively. But the report also really emphasizes the accelerated adoption of cloud services. That's huge.
Ah,
Yeah, as more data, more applications migrate to the cloud, you get new security challenges, new vulnerabilities. They require specialized solutions. And then there's just the sheer proliferation of IoT devices.
oh yeah, everything's connected now.
Everything from smart home gadgets to, industrial sensors. And each one creates countless new, often unsecured entry points for attackers. And finally, the big one recently, the widespread shift to remote working practices. That's dramatically expanded the attack surface. You need robust security way beyond the traditional office walls now. So it's not just about stopping attacks anymore. It's about fundamentally enabling these new ways we live and work digitally. All of that requires trust, data integrity.
And the financial numbers, wow, they truly reflect that shift in necessity. Let's talk about the global growth story because it's genuinely massive. Okay, get this. The global cybersecurity software market was $84.753 billion back in 2021. But by 2025, just next year, it's projected to hit $139.67 billion. And then looking further out to 2033, the forecast is, well, it's an astounding $379.318 billion.
It's what's truly striking here isn't just the sheer scale, right? It's the acceleration of the growth. I mean, we're looking at a market projected to nearly quadruple in just over a decade. That signifies, well, profound global digital transformation. Security is moving from being this reactive thing to being a proactive, integrated, and a costly foundation for basically all digital interaction and economic
A
activity.
foundation, yeah.
Exactly. The report kind of hints at how this investment is not just about preventing breaches anymore. It's about enabling entirely new digital business models that rely heavily on trust, on data integrity. I mean, can you imagine a global economy where Every single transaction, every interaction has this built-in security consideration. That's the future this report is painting.
That's a really significant point. Makes you think how that kind of foundational investment really shapes the whole digital landscape. But as you'd expect, this growth it's not uniform across the globe, is it?
Let's zoom in a bit. Where are these dollars actually being spent? Which regions are leading the charge? First up, North America. The report says this region held a market share of 33.8 over $8 billion in 2021, projected to lead to 146.113 billion by 2033. That's huge.
Absolutely. And the United States, predictably, it remains the biggest engine within North America, projected to hit over $110 billion by 2033 itself. But what's also really noteworthy is the robust and accelerating growth in Canada and Mexico, too. Both are projected to get near $20 billion and $16 billion, respectively, by 2033. Wow.
Yeah, so this isn't just about, the giant corporations. It indicates a much broader regional digital transformation, often fueled by things like stricter data privacy laws, increasing digital adoption across all sorts of industries. Those regulatory environments, they often mandate specific cybersecurity investments, which kind of drives a baseline demand you see.
Right, regulation as a driver. Okay, moving across the Atlantic then. Europe presents a pretty diverse cybersecurity landscape. The report forecasts its market to grow from, let's see, $24.493 billion in 2021 to over $105.526 billion by 2033. Are there any particular standouts or maybe unexpected trends within Europe that jumped out?
What's fascinating about Europe is it's fragmented, definitely, but still shows strong growth across various economies. Germany, for instance, is a major player, projected to reach over $15.7 billion by 2033. The UK isn't far behind that, expected to exceed $12 billion. And even, economies we might think of as slightly smaller in tech spend, like France, Russia, Italy, they're projected to see their markets grow substantially. France nearing $14.3 billion, Russia $12.5 billion.
Russia is quite high there.
It is. It speaks to a shared understanding across the continent, really, despite all the national differences.
Yeah.
The digital infrastructure requires robust protection. The report suggests this is driven by a mix of things: sophisticated industrial sectors, a big push for digital government services, and, of course, evolving GDPR-like regulations across the board.
Makes sense. It's interesting to see how diverse those contributions are within Europe, but yeah, that overall growth trend is certainly undeniable. And speaking of undeniable growth, let's shift focus to Asia Pacific. This region is experiencing truly rapid expansion. The market there is set to grow from $16.018 billion in 2021 to over $79 billion by 2033. What's driving such immense potential in that part of the world?
Asia Pacific is, it's a powerhouse in the making, for sure. China is the biggest player in the region, projected to reach nearly $24 billion by 2033. Japan and India are also really significant engines. They're forecasted to hit over $18.6 billion and $15.6 billion respectively. Yeah. What's particularly compelling here, I think, is just the immense growth potential, driven by vast populations, rapid digitalization efforts happening everywhere, across every sector, and increasing internet penetration, of course.
Right.
The report highlights that in many of these markets, especially maybe in Southeast Asia, this is like a first-wave digital transformation for many sectors. That means foundational security solutions, but also more advanced ones, are being adopted at an incredible pace. Often, they're kind of leapfrogging older technologies straight into modern cloud-based solutions.
Interesting. Skipping a generation of tech almost. Okay, now let's look at the emerging frontiers, as the report calls them: South America, the Middle East, and Africa. While their current market sizes are smaller, the report notes their significant growth rates. South America, for instance, projected to grow from $5.763 billion in 2021 to nearly $29 billion by 2033. And Brazil leads the charge there, expected to exceed $9 billion. Then the Middle East market also seeing substantial growth, from $3.305 billion in 2021 to over $12.6 billion by 2033. Saudi Arabia is the largest contributor there, nearly quadrupling its market to almost $4 billion. And finally, Africa. Its cybersecurity software market, while the smallest in 2021 at $1.365 billion, is projected to reach over $7 billion by 2033. South Africa and Nigeria are the largest contributors there, showing really strong upward trajectories.
Yeah, these significant growth rates in South America, the Middle East, and Africa, they're really compelling because they underscore a truly global trend. It's increasing digitalization across all sectors and a rapidly growing awareness, finally, of cyber threats pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
As these regions continue their digital transformation journeys, often starting from a lower baseline, the demand for robust cybersecurity solutions is just going to accelerate.
So it's catching up fast.
Exactly. The report emphasizes how vital these emerging markets are for the overall global picture.
Mm.
It reflects how digital risk is now, a universal concern. It's not just a Western issue anymore.
Right. So, okay, when you put all these numbers and trends together, the global picture, the regional variations, the drivers, what does this all mean? For you, our listener, whether you're, say, a business leader planning your digital future, or just an individual trying to navigate online life safely, or maybe even thinking about national policy.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this robust, widespread growth in cybersecurity software, it directly impacts virtually every facet of our lives now. For businesses, it's increasingly about protecting assets, yes, but also maintaining customer trust, ensuring operational continuity against these ever-evolving threats. It's fundamental. For individuals, well, it's about safeguarding our personal data, our financial security, even our digital identities. And then on a national level, it's about protecting critical infrastructure, national security, economic stability. The stakes are incredibly high.
Hmm.
So this isn't just about companies spending more money on software licenses. It's about a fundamental global adaptation to this constantly shifting threat landscape. It really highlights that cybersecurity is no longer just some IT niche, right? It's a foundational pillar of our digital existence. It enables everything from e-commerce and online banking to remote healthcare and education.
Exactly. It really makes you consider how much we all rely on these often unseen critical software solutions every single day. The report certainly paints a clear picture of just how integrated and, well, essential they've become. So there you have it. The cybersecurity software market isn't just growing, it's absolutely rocketing upwards, driven by, the sophistication of attacks, the explosion of cloud services, IoT devices everywhere, the shift to remote work, all of it. This industry is set to nearly quadruple in just over a decade, hitting close to $380 billion globally by 2033. It's just a massive, necessary, and constantly evolving frontier that underpins our entire digital world.
And this profound growth trajectory, it raises a really important question, I think, for all of us to consider going forward. How will this projected, almost exponential growth impact future innovation in cybersecurity itself? Will it lead to, say, greater consolidation among the big providers, or will it spark an explosion of new, specialized niche solutions? And maybe even bigger picture, how might this massive investment reshape global economic relationships, digital dependencies over the next decade? It's definitely a lot to think about as we move forward into this increasingly digital future.
Absolutely. A great point to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. Keep exploring, keep learning, and stay informed about our incredible and, ever-changing digital world. We'll catch you next time.